Hello my friends, and welcome to the fourth installment of my Rune Level 1 Elden Ring playthrough. For this video I decided to showcase my fight with the Draconic tree sentinel. I hope you guys enjoy my struggle as I inch my way to victory. As you'll see, this enemy provided a moderate challenge that pushed me to learn his attacks, learn how to avoid them, and just as important, discover my openings to deliver damage to him. This will be a theme going forward as the boss encounters get progressively less manageable. I will no longer be able to rely on spamming heals and playing sloppy. Before we jump into the action, let's talk about my build. Being a level 1 build, I decided to employ a few easy to use advantages. First off, Radagon's Sword Seal. This raises Vigor, Endurance, Strength, and Dexterity 5 points each. The downside is that the seal also increases damage taken. The way I see it, the Vigor basically cancels out the increased damage and are essentially left with 15 free attribute levels. This raises Strength, Dex, and Endurance from 10 to 15. Why is this important? This allows me to meet the requirements for a larger pool of weapons, including the Scavenger's Curved Sword, which requires 14 Dexterity. This curved sword is able to be slotted with the Flame of the Redmane. In addition, it causes blood loss buildup, which does a nice chunk of extra damage. I also nabbed the Albinaric Mask from the Volcano Manor, which increases Arcane by 4. Initially I thought this would increase blood buildup, however I believe Arcane only affects weapons that include Arcane scaling. But let me know if I'm missing something here. Okay, so basically, this is what I'm working with at the moment. I will do a more in-depth build discussion down the road, when it starts to flesh out a bit more. The first phase. I learned pretty quickly that his first phase can be just as deadly as the second. Let's start with his horse attacks. Maybe it's part dragon or something, but the Sentinel's equestrian counterpart spits fireballs. There are two ways it'll execute this attack. Either a long-range orb directly at the player, or if you're close enough, he will alternately rear up and blow fire directly into the terrain. This can be a good window to attack if positioned properly. Moreover, I felt as though I could somewhat regularly bait this scenario for some easy hits. The horse does occasionally use a stomping attack. I'm pretty certain there are attacks for when you are behind and beside the horse as well. However, I never really positioned myself that way in this fight. The Sentinel himself has a decent Phase 1 repertoire. Most of these attacks consist of him swinging and bashing with the Great Claw he wields. The Horseman will also attack with his offhand shield, if you tempt him. He seems to naturally lead with the claw hand, however, and will rarely use the shield in my experience. His swings have variety in both direction and timing of the attacks. Sometimes it's a vertical smash. Other times he swings low across the ground. Regardless, staying a small distance from the horse can mitigate the threat from his normal swings. He also likes to jump and smash the claw into the ground. Then there's this real cheeky move he does occasionally that always seems to catch me off guard. That's Phase 1 in a nutshell. Flame of the Redmane to stagger, punish with the curved sword. Phase 2 isn't drastically different. Lightning is added to the Tree Sentinel's attack pool. This comes in several forms. Using the shield, he can cast two variants of the lightning. A single bolt directly at the player's position, or an AoE that surrounds the horseman. Nothing too crazy. I tend to use the horse strat for avoiding the bolt. I did figure out the dodge, but I got used to using Torrent to avoid the lightning bolt. The lightning he uses with the claw just accentuates his previous attack patterns, adding a larger AoE effect to his arsenal. So that's it, really. Most of his direct hits were already instant death, so this wasn't really a concern. I died to the horseman over and over, steadily progressing further into the fight. On one particular occasion, the boss got stuck in a pattern, and I was able to deliver a bunch of free damage. He eventually regained composure, and I panicked and fumbled the run. That one stung. Almost as bad as this run, where I hadn't got a bunch of free damage. I was teetering on the verge of success. Then it happened. A near perfect run. Okay, so you've seen my struggle with the boss, and my gradual improvement. Here's what happens when it all comes together in a single battle. Keep an eye out for part 5. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, have fun and stay safe.
My friend.